That is true, and the cat's, I think, totally out of the bag. TragedyandHope.com is an online community where independent media hosts and other folks all kind of meet up and share ideas, and it's basically built as a social network site to where you can have friends and groups and do all those things that you can do on social networking sites. And within the TragedyandHope.com community, within the groups of things discussing whether it's, the trivium, the lost tools of learning, or vaccination, or, health stories, or any of those kind of areas, the one that jumped out at me was called Navigating Netflix. Mm-hmm. And it was a way to, and essentially the blurb is that, Netflix subscribers find, diamonds in the rough all the time, but there are things that are kind of hidden in there, and they're maybe not the things that Netflix is going to put up on the front screen and say, hey, you should watch this, which they're not going to do with, hey, you should watch this documentary about, Carnegie and the, Steele and the early elites and barons and all those things. But it's there. Mm-hmm. There are documentaries about that within Netflix. So the group was about finding those diamonds in the rough and posting them to the group for other people to kind of go, oh, I'll watch that. And Netflix essentially has, a really cheap deal where if you subscribe at the lowest level, which gets you, I'm not sure how many, physical DVDs a month, but you still have unlimited viewing regardless of however many discs you want to get a month. So for a cheap subscription, you have unlimited streaming with, content that's only growing and growing and growing. And I constantly see stuff on there. And I'm like, oh my God, damn, I've always wanted to see that, but it was never on DVD or, just never had an opportunity. So for whatever reason, the idea kind of grew and turning Navigating Netflix into a podcast. The website is live, navigatingnetflix.com. It's live, and it's still kind of under construction. I'm still playing with the logo and the layout, and I'm still haven't really quite in my mind solidified what the format of the show may be, and maybe that won't happen until we've got a few in the can. I don't really know. But the idea will be to pull from members of the Tragedy and Hope community who are in the group who have films, shows, documentaries, and things that are available on Netflix that they've watched and that they've enjoyed. I mean, it's basically a book club for Netflix.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome, actually.
Now, for as far as any kind of target date, I'm really not sure. I mean, hopefully in the next couple of months, hopefully should see a show come out. But again, whether it's, I don't know if it's going to be audio or video or sometimes one or some, I haven't fleshed out all those things. But again, navigatingnetflix.com the site is live.
Well, I've got a bit of a softball question that I was holding off, but it should be fairly easy. You recently changed your closing statement at the end of the show.
Oh. And that's something, and I've had other folks ask me about other things, that's either in, say, the notes that are on the website, the show notes, or some of the things on the show. And not always is there some grand design behind some of the things that are in there. Now, of course, I wouldn't just accidentally say something, but the way things maybe started early on, I think I just kept in place because, again, I like the consistency. And again, I think that comes back to having a live show at a given time that folks can count on, some level of quality that they expect from their nightly news. So to try and be as kind of consistent as possible, some things that maybe started out, as maybe not that big a deal, or, even the main quote that's always surrounded the show about, the 1984, whether we went on with the diary, was never any sort of like, yes, that's the mission statement, of the site. It was just early on kind of a quote about, well, in a way, doing a website like this is sort of like keeping the diary that could get you in trouble later, as they're going to crack down on all of these kind of thought police kind of things. So it is a comment on doing a website like Media Monarchy, knowing that, and early on, folks like my mom are just like, oh, don't get in trouble. You're not doing anything you're not supposed to, are you? But if you're, as far as the end of the show, referring to, because I guess what it was either I end shows with what Webster Tarpley would say, and that's get active or get radioactive.
Yeah, you haven't said that as much.
I think I've slowly, either by design or sometimes, again, when the mic is live and you're on and you just, I'm a chatty dude and things fly out of my mouth. So there's sometimes, like I said, it's maybe not a grand design, but there's a part of me that I like the saying from Jello Biafra of Dead Kennedys, don't hate the media, become the media. And I've found that to be maybe a more positive thing. I mean, not that, get active or get radioactive isn't a positive thing. It's kind of a motivational thing.
True.
But within there, it still contains that, radioactivity. I guess, don't hate the media, still has the word hate in there, but...
But it implies a certain amount more positivity.
I think so. And maybe more specific to what I'm doing with this kind of media outlet. Because, again, maybe I'm not, get active. Does that mean, go out and protest on the street or yell like, well, I'm not really going to, or bullhorn, I'm not really going to do that stuff. Yeah. So, maybe, don't hate the media, become the media. I think it's a more maybe apt kind of slogan or rallying cry.
I think it implies more participation.
And and that's an even better thing, again, to try and get folks in. So we're coming down to about 15 minutes. You want to start blast through any of the things on there?